over 20 years ago, is in a dark winter afternoon in Manchester. A girl was running hard, chased by a bunch of teenagers. They were throwing stones and shouting at her. Why don't you go back to your own country? Toastmasters and most welcome guests. This girl's name is Chongjun. She only arrived in the UK in the last month as an overseas student. She was so scared, you can imagine. There's no other pedestrians on the street. There's no visible help you can see on the street. She didn't understand why she was treated like this after she's paying a premium tuition fee to the university. The family has worked so hard to support her financially, and she worked so hard to learn her language to come to new possibility of life. Is that just because she's a foreigner? And where these young teenagers get this idea of prejudice from? So this moment she feels so separate. Maybe not only herself, maybe also include her friends in the similar situation. She was not really confident enough to go to police station because of her limited English. So that's one occasion she felt separated from other people. A few years later, Chongjun got married and she became a housewife with 2 young children. Overly, she's tired most of the time. As one day, she was queuing in the supermarket in her household working uniform, a saggy outfit, smell a little bit of baby milk, and kitchen cooking grease. She was in the queue, and suddenly she heard the cashier was talking to her in a louder voice. Please keep a distance. While looking at her straight in the eyes, a bit more serious than he would expect it. Chongjun was a little surprised to be the only one who was addressed. She looked back and forth, looked around, noticed that all other people, they haven't kept the 2-meter distance rule. After all, COVID has finished, has gone, and the rule was not really that strict at that moment. So then she gestured to the cashier, and the cashier pointed his fingers to her and said, yes, you. And it's so hard not to take it personal, isn't it? She was so annoyed. Why me? Is that because she's a perfect victim? Is that because that she looks not like English? Is a weak Asian woman? She looks tired? She looks easy to be victimized. But that's not reason why she should be treated differently from others. And there's one piece of puzzle I didn't tell you. Chongjun got a English name, June. So those were my experience. And also, I have experienced a lot of disapproving look when my autistic son threw a tantrum in public. You're just not a good parent because your son is not behaving properly. Well, I understand. They don't really understand autism, some of them. But this made me think, what actually makes or causes the separation? That's how I felt a lot of time, and that contributes to my depression over the years. Is that because the race, gender, religion, disability, and all the things that you can see externally? Or more internally is people's closed mind, their own preferences. They don't really want to try out to know other people's different needs and background. But fortunately, there are some warm stories, okay? I remember the time when I got my first job in England. My manager was really supporting me and giving me the right mentoring and encouragement. And I remember the time a gentleman took me to the destination after I said pardon 6 times to his direction. And I remember the time when a stranger stopped her car and rescued me from these 3 huge dogs. That was very scary, but she rescued me, even if she didn't really know me. So they didn't really judge me on my appearance. They didn't really laugh at me on my English accent. They didn't take the advantage of my vulnerability. Instead, they reached out their hands and they supported me. So if we keep our mind open, we embrace diversity, we support each other, that we encourage a lot of understanding between each other, and this whole world will altogether become a healthier and happier one. So let's hold our hands and close the separation as much as possible, ladies and gentlemen.